Okay, Steve, thanks for joining us. First, we'll look back on Tuesday evening. I suppose that's where we've got to start with the Hartley Wintney defeat, 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, they're a good side now. Going forward, I thought they were really good. So take nothing away from them. They were right up there with the better teams in this league going forward, certainly. And that's why you can't do what we did. And the last thing I said was, whatever we do, let's not take chances. Let's play in their half. Let's manage the game, work the game out, see what we need to do, to get a foothold in the game. And I don't think I barely sat down. And I'm looking at sort of passage of play. I'm thinking, it's the exact opposite to what we've asked them, what's been asked to do. And you're passing the ball in your own box. Josh knows he shouldn't be doing it. He's come in, held his hand up, but it's already you're on the back foot after 26 seconds. And then the clearance, the second goal they've scored is a brilliant goal. But if you're going to clear the ball from a corner, you then have to stay with your man until the danger is passed. We've come out and we just haven't stayed with our men, and he's picked it up. And to be fair, it's a really good finish. It's a brilliant finish. But you still expect people to, if they're closer to him and shutting the ball down, he doesn't get the opportunity to turn and hit it like that. And then we get back in the game and think, okay, so it's a really good finish, and we're 2-1, and probably in the ascendancy then, and one or two half chances and good areas where we might just have fed the ball through, but the quality wasn't quite there. You're thinking, if we can get the next one, it really is going to be game on. They're always going to be a threat, but then so are we. And of course, then we make another basic error, and they're good enough to take advantage of that. Some teams aren't. They were. So as I say, all credit to them. But when you're analysing the game, I mean, we're 3 or 4 minutes into the game, and already you're everything that you've prepared for, everything that you've done prior to the game, everything that you've asked players to do, it's just gone completely out the window, because we've got two elements where you're sort of just wondering exactly why that's happened. When the instructions and the directives are that you've got to do, you've got to play the percentage game sometimes, especially early on in the game, until you've got a foothold. And I think as a manager, I've always got to look at myself, and and you say, well, what the team that you picked, the system that you picked, is everyone comfortable in that? Is that the right system with the players available? And I for reasons that we're going to explain, that was the correct team to pick, and that was the right system. But we said that if what you ask isn't implemented within that system, then as you say, it really counts for nothing. And that was the disappointing bit, was we were out the game before we'd even started, and when we did get a glimmer, we were our own worst enemies again. So that's tough to take, particularly after playing quite well at Hayes on the Saturday, and looking completely different to that, where we didn't really give too many chances away. We weighed the opposition, worked hard. One mistake from Dinesh, it's cost us a game there. But as I say, we've got to learn, and we've got to learn very quickly.
Looking back at the video, we did actually control quite a lot of the game on Tuesday, but just didn't, like you alluded to earlier, we didn't quite have the quality.
But then I mean, you look at it, and they're obviously sitting on for most of the game, a 2-goal lead. So they are going to concede possession. They are going to concede areas of the pitch, because what they don't want is an open game. And that's what I'm saying. Up at 2-1, it was an open game. It could have gone either way. At 3-1, it's all of a sudden you're looking up and there's 11 men behind the ball. They're well organised. They work really hard from the front to the back. So unless you get that goal early on in the second half, give yourself a little bit of room for manoeuvre, then it's always going to be. It's a totally different game to how it would have played out if we hadn't conceded 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. And that's what I mean. It skews your view of what you're seeing, simply because you've put yourself in that position.
So I mean, let's discuss Marvin and Tomo. Tomo didn't get to start on Tuesday. I remember.
Yeah. Well, both Marvin and Tomo didn't start. Yes. Tomo's been obviously through pre-season, has been struggling a little bit. He felt heavy after Saturday.
I noticed he's got strapping on the back of his leg as well. I guess that's playing a part of it.
There you go. Well, that's you're almost it's explained there. And Marv felt like he's missed 8 months. He's come back. He's hit the ground really hard, and he's hit the ground running, and just felt after Saturday you know, a quick midweek game was probably going to be a bit too much for him. His body just felt a little bit heavier than that. So if we could have got past that one, he felt like we get to Saturday and then going from that onwards, that he would be okay for midweek games. So you know, that's always the balance. You know, Goodship went to a 10, which is a position he can play, and Fitchett went up top, which is certainly a position he can play. So you know, it wasn't that we changed the system around completely. We put, you know, square pegs in square holes. It was just that if you start a game, as I say, we keep coming back to it, and I've analysed it, you know, for 3 or 4 days now. If you give away those sort of goals within the first 3 minutes of a game, it doesn't matter who you've got, it's always going to be a struggle.
Sam Ashton and Calvin.
Yeah, Sam Ashton, we're hoping is going to train Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and then we're going to get him involved Saturday in the warm-up, train Tuesday, Wednesday, and then hopefully be available for one of those 2 games over the bank holiday weekend. So that would be fantastic. Calv is a couple of weeks away from seeing the specialist again, and hopefully getting the all clear, and then maybe a couple of weeks from being fit. And I think, you know, with all due respect to everybody, you know, not just the quality that we're missing with those 2, but the actual the deepness of the squad and the numbers, you know, they will certainly flesh it out, you know, a lot. And they're 2, you know, really big players. They're not peripheral players. They're players that would make a real difference to our side.
So we look forward to Yate Town coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, another tough one. I mean, I got a report on them from the other night. You know, they really did give Weston-super-Mare a real good go. I think Weston scored sort of late in the game to win it 3-2, but they've got pace up front. They're young, they're mobile, they'll get about the pitch. So there aren't any easy games. I'm surprised at the quality I've seen so far. I've watched 4 other games, obviously apart from our own, and every team that I've watched have been very good. So it's the standard of the league and the quality of the league is very high again this year. And there never is any gimmies, and that's certainly not going to be one Saturday. We will have to be absolutely spot on, and obviously we're going to have to not be our own worst enemy.
Keep together for the first 5
minutes. Yeah, we just make the opposition work. And if they score goals because they're better than us, not because, you know, we've had a major hand in helping them score it. And that's all I ask. And, you know, if we can go out there and give ourselves a chance in games, then there's no doubt that we're good enough to give people a game of football.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, Steve.
Pleasure.
We'll see you Saturday.
Cheers.